Welcome back to the XJA Terminal CSR Dispatch Training Guide. Let's get it done. Next up, first of all, congratulations on finishing up the intro to Operations Media. That was a lot of videos. And here's another one. So, be sure to always go back and check out those videos, the 2 and 3 and times that it suggests. There's a reason behind all of that. And the overall reason is to brainwash you, like we've said before. So, coming next, we have our XJA team memo and scorecard system. Let's cover it. Feel free, by the way. Feel free to pause and read along yourself. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some of this, and I may point out a few things here and there. Let's get into it. You know what time it is. XJA team memo. Who do you need to proficiently manage a 30 truck fleet? Our goal here is to have about 30 trucks to maintain about 30 active trucks. That can come up to 40 because you can count on about 80% of your fleet actually being on the road for one reason or another. Drivers being sick, trucks being broken down, things happen. So if you have 30 trucks active, then you'll have about 20 year round. You'll average about 22 or so trucks actually on the road. But either way, the goal is to have about 30 trucks. And we're going to take our time with that because we want you and your team members to be developed and ready. Which brings me to the ratio. So using a ratio of 5 trucks per CSR dispatcher, that would mean having 6 CSR dispatchers for your 30 trucks, right? So using a ratio of 1 assistant per 30 trucks, that would mean having 1 assistant. Same thing with your ratio of 1 to 30 for your D&E manager and your accounting manager. Having 1 per 30 trucks. Now, many in this industry they'll kill these ratios. The reason why we're going to do this at XJ Terminal, having the ratio, particularly for the CSR dispatchers, being 5 per every CSR dispatcher, is because of how we are, the amount of pressure that we put on you, okay? To do things right, to do things above average in terms of performance and execution. So you may very well have a capacity for 10, but then your brother or your sister and your team member may only have a capacity of 2. And we want to be able to even that out until everybody is pretty much operating on an even keel with 5 trucks, respectively. And that's something that leadership would have to gauge and kind of watch and see, and yourself would have to keep and watch and see. In terms of being able to, how comfortable you are with managing 5 trucks. If you were to be given 5 trucks alone to say, hey, these are 5 trucks for you to dispatch and be a CSR for, take care of their customers, all their updates, XYZ, being able to manage them from order entry all the way to order completion. All of operations for 5 trucks. How comfortable are you with that? And so, again, most in this industry are probably more so like a ratio of about 15. Sometimes more, but about half, about average would be about 15. You could literally have a lot of people that are doing 1 CSR, maybe 2 for 30 trucks. We're doing 5, so we're going to kill that ratio for a time. Moving on. If 10 of the 30 trucks are dedicated to the operations of other terminals, then XJA is left with 20 trucks requiring 4 CSR dispatchers to manage 20 trucks. So here's the breakdown. You have 30 XJA fleet trucks. 30. Excuse me, 30. Let's highlight that here. Right? So we have 30 XJA fleet trucks that we're shooting for. And so we need to have, again, we're going to be doing this incrementally, and we're starting that now. We started it back in July, June, and we're finna kick it into another gear right now here in September, August, September. But the idea here is to have, I guess that would be a third of the trucks, having at least 5 trucks here, having at least 5 trucks at another terminal, having another 5 trucks at another terminal. These are X&D operations terminals, XRB operations terminals. These both are warehouses within the NDS fleet, the total NDS company. Again, XJA fleet is only going to be about 30 trucks or so, 30, 40 trucks max, with 10 or at least 5 at, well, I would say at least 10 dispersed between other terminals. Okay, that would leave us with about a max at XJ. I mean, that means XJ containers, dispatches, orders, things that you would manage as a CSR dispatcher for these trucks, 20. So we only need about 4 CSR dispatchers, as it says here. 4 CSR dispatchers, XJ Ops CSR dispatchers, 1 Ops assistant, 1 D&E manager, 1 accounting manager for these 20 trucks, or these 30 trucks, or these 20 active XJA trucks. Okay. Alright, so there's another position here that we have. We call them TMs, or terminal managers. Myself and April will be serving as a joint terminal manager. We're here to develop you, to develop your comrades, to develop the team overall. We'll be, as it says here, we'll be seeking outside consultants to make sure that we're doing that in the best way, while also still staying within our scope of our mission. Our mission is to make sure that we build our customers within 24 to 48 hours, that we make sure that you are challenged and feel fulfilled, that our owner operators and drivers have consistent income coming in. Okay, and to do that, it takes a lot of coordination. It takes a lot of developing the team overall. It's a lot of small things that have to be done, as if you haven't already picked up on that. There's a lot of small things that have to be accounted for, that have to be, in fact, you most likely have not been able to pick up on that yet. Everything that you've learned thus far has been, if you're going through this for your first time, has been intro, just surface level things. But just know that all of these 30 trucks, in order to manage this operation well, means that everybody in here must operate well. This is the face. These 30 trucks are the face of what we do. We are the roots here. Okay? Put the ugly color here. This is what we see above ground. And this is us under here making all this happen for these 30 trucks. Okay. So who do we need? That was the question. Who do we need to proficiently manage a 30 truck fleet? We need 30 trucks. We need 4 CSR dispatchers, 1 assistant, 1 D&E manager, 1 accounting manager. And we need our leadership here. And we need us operating well, together and individually. That's who we need. All right. Good deal. Okay. Let's move on. All right, here we have our scorecards. Our scorecards are what allows us to measure how we're doing individually. And we'll break this down here in the next page. But it says here, operations scorecard for CSR dispatcher. You have expert, intermediate, beginner, and training. These are performance gauges. How you perform in a certain area. Are you an expert in this area? Are you a beginner in this area over here? Are you intermediate in this area? Or you still need training in this other area? And as you score these out, as you see below, in these categories by which we score, as you score these out, you'll get a total score. And that total score should be less than 25. We want it to be as low as possible. We would like everybody to be an expert in every single category. But we will all fall somewhere in between here. The lower the score, the better. Okay? So I'll go over these, review these real quick. These areas of operations in which we'll be grading everyone, myself included. How well do we enter a delivery order? Accept order documents and verify information with customer via email. How well do you do that? How well do you enter the information into the DMS, to the dispatch management system? 1 through 4, are you an expert? Are you an intermediate? Are you a beginner? Do you still need training to do this well? How well do you coordinate the pickup and delivery info? How well do you puzzle these things together? Collecting and organizing all available information on drivers, equipment, time parameters with your team, and troubleshoot order issues in order to put this puzzle together. How well do you keep the DMS and teams updated with the information? This is key. You'll find out. You'll find out how key that is. But how well do we do that? Coordinate pickup and delivery plan. See, here is you're coordinating the information. Now you're coordinating the plan. You're executing this plan. You're communicating and executing the plan. You're getting it done. You're dispatching. How well do you communicate the plan with the customer team for verification via email? How well do you communicate the plan with driver team for verification via DMS, text, and or email? How well do you track and troubleshoot order issues? How well do you execute dispatching cycle in the DMS from start to completion? How well do you keep the DMS and teams updated with this information? Okay. And we'll cover that a little more in a drill down. All right. So let's read over these performance qualities real quick. Okay. Stages of your professional development and performance. Here's a training quality. The performer is inconsistent and makes many mistakes. The performer requires support from the trainer to show and tell them how and what they need to do. Demonstration and repetition are key to development at this stage. Demonstration and repetition at the stage that you're currently in are key to development at this stage. All right, so we're going to be demonstrating a lot of stuff and repeating a lot of stuff, and you will be demonstrating and repeating. All right, this is how you develop inside of the training stage. To develop out of this stage, the most important practice or the most appropriate practice is whole part whole, giving the performer a sense of overall context before the skills are broken down. So we go and we look big, we do reviews, overviews, and then we'll take one part, practice it, and then go back to the overviews to see how that part fits into the overview. And then we'll go back to that part and practice it over again and come back out to the whole and review. Then we'll pick another part and we'll rinse and repeat that process. That's what this means. Beginner quality. At this stage, the performer begins to understand the requirements of the skills and becomes more consistent. Within their performance, there are fewer mistakes than during their training stage, and the performer can concentrate for longer. More complex information can be processed, and the performer can use internal self-feedback to further improve. The strategy to develop out of this stage is part practice. Part practice will support this stage as it supports motivation and focuses on specific skills. So once you have gotten the context here in this training phase, now you can spend more time in the part phase, where you concentrate on one aspect of the requirements of the job or the skill, and you focus on that for a few weeks at a time. You become a pro in this part. Whether that be, in this case, delivery orders, or maybe planning, or maybe dispatch, wherever you have found your strength or weakness here in the training phase, wherever we see you are fit for, and wherever you see you are fit for, you take that part and you practice the heck out of it. All right. And then we do that for all the major components of the job of being a CSR dispatcher. You just continue to take these parts and practice them till you become pretty efficient with them, or proficient with them. Okay. Now, once you've done that, once you've picked all the major parts and gotten great at them, likely moving into the intermediate phase. Here, the performer has results and skills that reside somewhere in between high and low competence, often performing well, while still not near the level of an expert in the field, but generally still effective in achieving goals. Strategy to develop out of this stage is going back to the basics of training. So this is where it gets good. You've gained a sense of accomplishment, you've gained a sense of confidence, and this is where you have to be careful not to mess up. We want you here at this stage as soon as possible, but it's also a slippery slope once you get here, because you can have a false sense of confidence, and you may use that in the wrong way. This is completely up to you and how you choose to manage your new sets of skills and the confidence that comes along with that. But the basics, or the way to develop in this stage, or develop out of this stage, as it says here. The strategy to develop out of this stage is going back to the basics of training. Right? So that's kind of crazy that to get out of the intermediate phase into an expert quality, you have to go back to the basics of training. Part whole part is effective here as well. Revisiting the context now that a certain level of competence is reached, and now the performer is prepared to develop the parts within the whole. So this is what we do as people. This is how we develop as people. As kids become teenagers, and teenagers become young adults, that same process of getting a hold on a concept or a body of knowledge, and you know how you can become a young adult and you have a better grip of this thing called life, or these different bodies of knowledge. And now you should go back and reflect. You should have a time of reflection throughout your life. Actually, we should always take a time to reflect, and that's when we become a little confident and a little cocky in our skills and our bodies of knowledge. We should always go back and review where we came from, not forgetting where we come from. And the that's the beauty. That is the crazy part about becoming an expert in something. Being able to go back and see where we came from. All right? How to develop there and how to get better at the little things. All right? Revisiting the context now that a certain level of competence is reached, and now the performer is prepared to develop the parts within the whole. All right. Expert quality. The performer is consistent and effective. They perform skills with consistency and accuracy without any effort. They are able to concentrate on complex tasks and information and able to adapt their performance. They decide on the pace of the skill and activity and nearly always make the correct decisions. The trainer can give detailed feedback and use complex analysis to refine performance. Strategy to develop further in this stage. Whole part tends to be used at this stage as it requires high attention to skills that cannot be broken down. This is your expert quality. I'm not gonna go over that too much just because it's we're not gonna be there anytime soon, and we want to mostly concentrate on getting here. This is our sweet spot. And once we get here, we'll go over this a little bit more. How about that? But we're going to concentrate right here. Make sense? Good. You know what time it is. Let's get it.